Kagwa. In the last stanza, the skull asked to the Hagwa, "How did you come here?" The dead body said, "Talking brought me here." So we can understand from this poem. This poem gives us a moral story. Unnecessary talking is not good for us. It gives us very bad problems like death or another problems. So we must think before we speaking. Here there are many rhyming words in this poem. Those are spear here, uh, lie, die, mm, spoke, uh, nothing, spear here. These are the rhyming words in this poem. Uh, so we must think before we speaking anything. Here in this poem, the Hagwa is not intelligent, but the king is very intelligent because he thinks and he proves with the evidence. Thank you for hearing me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Darunika, for your marvelous presentation. On her topic, The Lumber Room by...
Thank you, Smita. Good evening, everyone. My topic today is The Lumber Room by Saki. The Lumber Room is a classic short story which is about a clever naughty boy and about his arrogant aunt who is the antagonist of the story. Here in the story, Boy Who Seeks, the story is fully about how a boy seeks into a lover room and how he uses his imagination and all other naughtiness to enter into the lumber room. Saki is the pen name of Hector Hope Monroe, who is considered as the master of short stories, and he is a British writer. He was born December 18, 1870, and he was passed away on 13 November 1960. The Lumber Room is an autobiographical short story of Saki, which is written by him by recalling his childhood experience in 1870s. So in the story, nature of obedience, limitation of adult view of world, children's view of world are well shown. Here we can also understand that parents are the only real lovers of children. None other than parents can love or take care of their children. And also children only get smarter and smarter through their naughtiness rather than being foolish. So, if we come to look about the protagonist of this short story, Nicholas, who is a boy, who is a naughty boy, is the protagonist of this short story. Due to some reasons, Nicholas and his little brother have to live with aunt with two more kids, his girl cousin and boy cousin. Nicholas is considered as young mischievous boy. Nicholas is not much interested into being socialized, as he doesn't like to attach to each other kids, and he doesn't also want to invite any other children to get into and enter into the lumber room. Not as other children, Nicholas doesn't. Nicholas actively repel the um, um, punishments and rules put forward by the arrogant, careless aunt. So he is also considered as a smart, brave, bold boy. So And as he doesn't invite any other children to enter into the lumber room, Nicholas is considered as a lonely soul, so that he can enjoy the day alone without any others. For this activity, he has constructed a great plan to execute. He has planned every simple, tiny detail, getting children and the aunt out of the house and the household, and practicing his school doors, to how to turn a key in a lock. So these are some evidence that how he is high in intelligence. Here, as he observes every tiny detail and execute his plan, he is a careful observer, and he imagines every tiny object in the lumber room. When he entered into the lumber room, he looked a piece of framed tapestry, old Indian hangings, candlesticks in the shape of snakes, and teapots fashioned like china duck, carved sandalwood box, and a large book with plain black covers into a box. So here in this poem, in this short story, the aunt is the under. Mostly, this aunt character is not seem to be a responsible one, but she is responsible for the four children, but she is not responsible for their well-being. She is described as irresponsible, careless, arrogant guardian to the children. She expects that children must obey her all the decisions, even they are not correct or acceptable. If any ask questions or rebel uh, her decisions, she would put for, put forward any harsh punishments to exclude them from getting fun. She is often cruel to the children. She is unaware about children's need and well-beings, but she always focuses on making them obey her decisions. For instance, Nicholas often say that Bobby's boots are tight, but she never listens. When the kids or Nicholas say important things, she never listens about this. So here her carelessness is described. So let me briefly explain about the short story. One fine day morning, aunt and his girl cousin, boy cousin Nicholas and his brother were in the dining table for the breakfast. As aunt called Nicholas for the breakfast, he come, and when he was intending to have his wholesome bread and milk, he looked that there was a frog in his milk. So he said to his aunt that there is a frog in the milk. Knows that there is no way for a to get in the breakfast. So they aren't say there is no possibility for a frog in the food basin, and she asked him to eat without making issues. But surprisingly, they also into the and this was because Nicholas did unusually when he returned when he was to the breakfast table from the was very done. He addressed the from the coloration and markings. So then the
Thank you, Ms. Tadumati. And next, I would like to call Sadhujiga to present on her topic, Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree by A. Huntsman.
Today I'm going to speak about the poem Fable to Man and Secondary. This poem has been written by Eric Huntsman. Alfred Edward Huntsman, usually known as Eric Huntsman. He's the most important poet of the 19th and 20th centuries. Now we're going to um, barn is a large farm building for storing grains or hay or keeping animals on it. And stack is a pile of object. It's typically is that neatly arranged. And farewell is to say bye, you are not welcome. The poem is about leaving barn, stack, and tree. The speaker going get the speaker get to live in this poem. Um, Travel to Man and Secondary by A. Huntsman is a six stanza poem. It's separated into four lines, known as five lines. Five lines follow simple yet impactful. Um, Impactful pattern of ABAB, CD, and so on, changing and sounds as Houseman saw fit. And we go to the poem Farewell to Band and Second Tree by A. Houseman describes a traumatizing story to, between two brothers. Well, his end in a wheat field, at the hand of the other. We go to the poem line by line. The first stanza of this poem. Farewell to Pan and Second Tree, farewell to Seven Sword, Terence, look your last at me, for I come home no more. The first line of first stanza, farewell to Pan and Second Tree. In the first line of Travel to Ban and Secondary, the speaker begins by traumatizing, um, sorry, he begins the analyzing the speaker line that later became a title, and Farewell to Shavansour. Here, Farewell repetition emphasizes his act, and Shavansour is the largest river in UK. Mm, this most popular river situated in UK. And Terence, look your last at me. Terence is the um, Terence is the Terence looked your last at me. He told he will come no more, not a possibility. And this line is also an example of alliteration with the repetition of the beginning of word. Um, these are flower, barn, stack, and these are specific images. For I come home no more. He told he not come he not will come home. He traveled to his house and barn, stack, and tree. And the next stanza, mm, the sun burns on the half mount hill. Um, the sun in the second stanza of this poem, Fabatiban and Secondary, the speaker goes on. He involves the readers very quickly and emotionally that someone has died. A man, a man named Morris, amongst the hay. We read The second stanza, the sun burns on the half-moon hill, by now the blood is pied, and Morios amongst the hair lies still, and my knife is in his side. The brother is killed his brother, uh, and uh, he lies still. Um, Dara and my knife is in here. Um, he my is a possessive adjective. The killer is the owner of the knife, and lies is emphasize nature diary. Mm, and the third line of this poem, my mother thinks as long away is his time the field were mown. She had two sons at rising day, tonight she'll be alone. His mother is has two brothers in the morning, but in the night at the night she'll be alone. Um, the one brother is killed his brother and he going to his village, and her mother's has two sons, one of is died, and other son is going to village. And fourth line of this poem, and here's a bloody hand to shake, and oh man says goodbye, well sweet no more on skite and wake my bloody hand's eye. And here he held his brother, and he bloody and hand to shake his um, bloody and corrupted one. And he says goodbye. He's not welcome. And the fifth line of this poem, I wish you strength to bring your bride and love to keep you clean. And I wish you luck, hum Lamastide are racing on the green. And the Lamastide is it's a holiday British celebrating August 1st. August 1st mark the wheat harvest. Um, and the and the last stanza of this poem. Long for me the thick will wait, and long will wait the fold, and long will stand the empty plate, and dinner will be full. In the last four lines of this poem, the speaker um, the speaker tells his listener that the stack of hair is going to it will be there in the of as ants will never touch he again. Mm, the same can be said for the fold, the empty plate at his the food on that plate. It will soon be cold, um, and dinner will be fold. A fold is a reference to plan to enclosure in which kept. Thank you for hearing.
Thank you, Ms. Sadurjiga, for your wonderful presentation. Next, I would like to call Ms. Sharamati again to continue her presentation.
So the aunt was frustrated, and she invented a treat at Sans at Jackporo for the other children as a special treat to exclude the Nicholas from getting fun because he refused to eat the breakfast. This is a habitual action of aunt that she invents the treat to exclude the one who doesn't obey her. It was her habitual action. So then a few decent years were looked on the from the Nicholas. But however, all the crying was done by his girl cousin, who scraped her knee rather painfully against the step of carriage as she was scrambling in. How she did howl, said Nicholas cheerfully, as the car drove off without any of the elation of high spirits that should have characteristic it. She'll soon get over that, said the aunt. It will be a glorious afternoon for racing about over those beautiful sands. How will they enjoy themselves? Said aunt. Bobby won't enjoy himself much, and he won't race much either, said Nicholas with a grim chuckle. His boots are hurting him, they are too tight. Why didn't he tell me that they were hurting? Asked the aunt with some asperity. He told you twice, but you weren't listening. You often don't listen when we tell you important things. You are not go into the gooseberry garden, said the aunt, changing the subject. So here we can understand that aunt is not a responsible person for the well-beings of Nicholas and all other children. So as the ant get into the gooseberry garden, the Nicholas went into the library and he took the key of the lumber room and he climbed up in the chair and took the lumber room key and ran to the lumber room. With a high expectations. He opened the lumber room and there was so many dust. He watched a piece of framed tapestry that was evidently meant to be a fire screen. To Nicholas, it was a living, breathing story. He sat down on a roll of Indian hangings and he imagined a story of the tapestry picture like the huntsman just transfixed a stage with an arrow to the deer, and when he was taking the deer, the werewolves were behind the huntsman, and he imagined many other endings from sitting in the lumber room and imagining. Then he saw some quaint twisted candlesticks in the shape of snakes and a teapot fashioned like a duck. Out of open beak, the tea was supposed to come. Then there was a carved sandalwood box packed tight with aromatic cotton wool, and between the layers of cotton wool were little brass figures. This shows how hesitated that those things were in the lumber room under the control of aunt. Then there was a large square book with the plain black covers, which was under a box. There were many pictures, colored pictures of birds, in the garden, in the lanes. When Nicholas went for a walk, Nicholas came across a few birds with the largest were as an occasional mappy or wood pigeon. Here were herons and bostad, kites, toucans, tiger buttons, brush turkeys, ibises, golden pheasants, and a whole portrait gallery of undreamed of creatures. The lumber room full of unexpected things of Nicholas. He was so happy. After some minutes, there was a screaming sound, Nicholas, Nicholas. So the Nicholas went off from the lumber room and he kept the key how it was before in the library and he ran to the gooseberry garden. He asked who is calling. Me, came the answer from the other side of the wall. Didn't you hear me? I have been looking for you in the gooseberry garden and I've slipped into the rainwater tank. Luckily, there is no water in it, but the sides are slippery and I can't get out. Fetched a little ladder from the under the cherry tree. I was told I wasn't to go into the gooseberry garden, said Nicholas promptingly. I told you not to go, and now I tell you that you may came the voice from the rainwater tank rather impatiently. So Nicholas said, your voice doesn't sound like aunt's, objected Nicholas. You may be the evil one tempting me to be disobedient. Aunt often tells me that evil ones tempts me that I always yield. So this time I'm not going to jail. Don't talk nonsense, said the aunt in the tank. She asked him to go and fetch the ladder. So that Nicholas innocently asked, "Will there be strawberry jam for tea?" The aunt certainly there said that certainly there will be, but privately saying that Nicholas should have none of it. So the Nicholas said, "Now I know that you are the evil one and not Anne, because um, when he was asking the aunt yesterday for jam, she said that there wasn't any. But also, Nicholas knows that there are four jars of strawberry jam in the cupboard because he looked. And of course, he know it's there, but she doesn't say there wasn't. She said that there wasn't any. Um, 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 Then, the dinner in the evening was going in the silent. But however, uh, Nicholas was in the imagination and full of the memories in the lumber room he got. He was imagining the different parts of the story endings by in the uh, water of his dinner tea. So, from this story, we can conclude that there is a far difference between adults and kids. The view of children and adults are overall different. Adults are meant to be that their decisions are 100% correct. Even it has many changes due to the time, uh, but they don't understand that their claims are not correct at the time. So when we take a look at children, most of them are living in their imaginary world because of their realities. Like Nicholas did, he's in a tragical life. He's living a tragic life, but he have his imagination world to escape from. Children become more creative, more intelligent, and more smart when they do naughtiness. They also get a kind of happiness by doing naughtiness. Um, but also in this world there is some kids who don't have a fortunate to do naughtiness, so their creativity and imagineering power is stopped. So in this short story, the poet short story, the writer used some literary devices like imagery, allegory, irony, juxtaposition, and metaphor, and also tone, especially expressing a particular emotionally. An imagery which clearly visualizes the parts of story, like Nicholas get into the lumber room, or how he talked with aunt when she was in that water tank, and every parts of the short story was filled of visual imageries. And allegory is a story that used to represent a general message about real life issue. So here, in the short story, we can understand that children must do naughtiness, and the adults have to accept the claim that the decision can change according to the time. And here, situational irony is used. Juxtaposition, creating clear picture of characteristic of one object or idea by comparing it with another. Here, Nicholas is compared with his other boy cousin, girl cousin, or his brother, and his mindset is different from others. And metaphor, which idea, action, or object describes a non-literal term. So, so in the short story, They are many conducted by the poet, by the writer. Adult world versus children's world, the power of adults, the naughtiness of children, the relationship between who have power and who don't have power, and also subjected to power, are the some of the themes in handled in this short story. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarumati, for your wonderful presentation. Now I would like to do my presentation. Today I'm going to speak about the poem The Eagle by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Alfred Lord Tennyson was born in England. Most of the English poets are born in England. Before going to analyze the poem, I would like to tell something about the bird eagle. Eagles are large in size, and it is known to be that it is a dominant predators, and that's are known to be such as birds of prey. And the eyesight of the eagle is something like more than 8% of human, because its eyesight is very powerful than a human. The eagle is used as a symbol in many national flags because of its bravery, startling power, majesty, and good fortune. The Because of that manner, the most of the countries are used eagle to their uh, country symbols or nation in their flag. Because when we think about eagle, we can only think about the bravery and the strength of that amazing bird. And now we this poem is this eagle is a turkey, because it has 3 lines in each stanza. In literature, if it is a three lines in each stanza, we call that is a turkey. On that way, it is a turkey type of poem. And the rhyming pattern of this amazing poem is A and B. Now we analyze about this poem. He claps the crack with crooked hands. Close to the sun in lonely land, ringed with azure world he stands. In this poem, he just recalling the power of of the bird eagle. He claps the crack with crooked hands. In this, according to the opening line of the first stanza, an eagle creeping a steep, high face of rock with its crooked hands. And also, he claps the cracks. In this line, the poet use the diction he. Normally, we used he to show a human, to emphasize a human. But in this poem, the poet used he to emphasize as a bird. In literature, we hold that is a personification, because personification is a literary device which give a human characteristic toward the inanimate object. On that manner, the poet uses the literary device personification in the first line. And also, claps, that means claps is also a human action, the action which is associated with the human. And claps is something hold tightly or firmly. With crack means a steep rock of cliff. And also crooked hands, that means crooked hands is not straight. And also the poet trying to tell something that eagle is a crew which is situated with crooked hands, because we know that straight persons, we think that straight persons are the good persons, and eagle is not like that, because it is cut its prey, and without any humanity, without any kindness, it killed it. From that, the poet also shows that it has crooked hands, which is not straight. Close to the sun in loneliness. This line is full of hyperbole, because no one can't reach the sun. because it is above the world. But the poet tries to give a huge or a very high flying skill to the bird eagle. That's why he just told that close to the sun in lonely land. But we all know that no one can't reach close to the sun. That is not possible. But the poet, to give a huge character to the eagle, he just told that close to the sun in lonely land. And lonely lands, which is not reached by anyone, because it is living in a high place. That's why no one can't reach that place. That's why the poet recalls that it is living in a lonely place. Ringed with azure world he stands. In this line, azure, the diction azure means which is surrounded by the blue color. We can compare that to the one is sky and one is sea. Because of its height, the place which is lived which lived sorry the place which is lived by eagle is in very high. Then that should be near to the sky. That's why the one surrounding, the one blue surrounding is sky, and the another is sea. Because when we analyze about the second stanza, we can know that one surrounding is sea. Now we analyze about the second stanza of this poem. The wrinkled sea beneath him crawls. He watches from his mountain walls, and like a thunderbolt he falls. The opening line of the second stanza, the wrinkled sea beneath him crawls, emphasizes that the eagle is standing far above the sea, and he gets the view of trampling and tumbling sea waves as the wrinkles. That means the cloth, the wrinkles of cloth. That I just